Hello, TCG and Lorcana enthusiasts, and welcome to the final episode of our color discussion for Into the Inklands, where today we are looking at the final color of Lorcana, Steel. So without further ado, let's check out the cards. First up, we got 𝐶𝐓𝐄𝐒, a 4-drop, 3/4, a quest for 2, vanilla, that's about it. Well, a new Winnie the Pooh character has arrived, and it is Eeyore, and he is a letdown. He's 5 cost to play for 5, and just has a resist 1 and quest for 1. As much as Eeyore is one of my favorite Winnie the Pooh characters, next to like Pooh himself, he's not great. I think we need a couple more Eeyore cards. But this Eeyore card, the start of this whole Pooh arc, Winnie the Pooh archetype, I just wish we had some more, a better Eeyore. We got Gustav the Giant. This character enters exerted and can't ready to start your turn. And during your turn, whenever one of your other characters banish another character in challenge, you may ready this character. So it's very neat. At a 3 cost, that's a 6/6 body, you'd think that, yeah, that's power creep. But it's not really power creep, because he enters to play exerted and can't ready the start of your turn. So while he is sitting exerted, he never readies. But during your turn, whenever one of your other characters banish another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. So at that point, then he gets to stand up. So he can't unexert himself when he knocks something out, but whenever something else gets knocked out, when another one of your other characters knocks something out, then he gets a stand up, which I think is actually pretty nice. I could definitely see this in a 𝐒𝐲𝐿 and Queen of Hearts strategy of using like Steel Ruby and playing him just for that 6/6 body. Not mentioning what you probably do is like quest or smash something in and use like the Queen of Hearts to draw 1, 𝐒𝐲𝐿 to gain a lore, and it becomes exerted. But then you use like the same strategy, like I said, where 𝐒𝐲𝐿 wants you to smash face, and the Queen of Hearts wants you to smash face. So you utilize a lot of that power there. And then basically you can always just restand him. So I think it's very neat. He's very limited on the decks that can really play him because you need to be smashing face. So like I said, I think for 𝐒𝐲𝐿 Queen of Hearts strategy, where it's about smashing face, he's not actually a bad card in that strategy. So anyways, in of course the other colors, we saw the Titans. I think the other 2 are in this color. I think we already saw 2 of the Titans. No, they are not. I think they're in the... Oh, no, there is. There is at least a Titan in this, and it's Pyros. Yeah, the other 2 Titans, the Lithos and Pyros, are in this color, while Amethyst has the Freeze one and the Tornado. So Hades is how all the Titans really function. So you can tap him to ready your Titan characters. So in essence, the entire Titan deck is running around Hades. You play out all your Titans, and then you use Hades, you do a bunch of stuff with them, and then you tap Hades, and they all come back. Now, the only time we are missing is the Cyclops. That's the only time we're actually physically missing. Because, yeah, the 4 main Titans that attack Olympus are the Ice, the Wind, the Fire, and then the Earth or Lightning one, Lithos. The Giant attacks the town of Thebes, I think, where Hercules was, got all his fame from. And that was because Hercules at the time had given up all his immortal power to Hades to protect Meg. But anyways, it's neat card. I don't think Titans personally are a very viable deck. Maybe they're like this fun gimmicky deck you could put together and play like at your locals. Honestly, I think we need way more Titans and way more things that synergize around the Titans before we can really say that, oh yeah, this is really a competent strategy. As of right now, I call it a gimmick strategy, but Hades is the entire way you play this deck because he just readies all your Titans. They just do all their things, stand back up, and do it all over again. So, it's very neat. Gimmicky at best. We got another Helga Sinclair. She just gets a Challenger +2, so she's just really nice at being a 5/4 body. Now, this John Silver is very interesting. For each location you have in play, this character gets a resist 1 and gets 1 lore. So I really do want to try a deck out with this John Silver, because this is basically just location spam. I would probably do it in the Emerald strategy or the Sapphire strategy, because the Sapphire has some very strong locations, as we saw in our last color review. But anyways, he just basically just gains resist 1 and a +1. So in essence, if you have 2 locations out, he's already resisting 2, and he's already buffing himself up to 3 lore a turn. Now mentioning, I think the Sapphire engine is much better because you have the vault door that gives resist to all your locations, so your locations are even harder to knock out. So, yeah, and not mention that Steel has probably a very good location being the Bayou, which we'll read later. That basically is a 1/3 body, but comes out for 1. But and any character quests on it basically draws you, discards a card. It's not, doesn't have a great will, but I mean, on a 1 body that literally can sit out there, it's pretty nice. But anyways, I really like this John Silver. I think there is a strategy of just called location spam. And I think you could actually do it with, actually, now think about it, with the Emerald strategy of using the Peter Pan that we read from Emerald from this set that moves around and you claim lore based on the location. So you can use that and then have you location spam use with like John Silver gaining all that resist and all that lore, and then you use Peter Pan to spam himself between locations so that you gain that location's lore. Alright, I think that's actually a pretty competent strategy I just made up there. Nonetheless, really cool. We got 𝐂𝐑, another bodyguard. Steel is just very good at having a bunch of bodyguards. Again, bodyguard strategy is still very competent in Lorcana. I don't think how great it is, but it's still a very neat strategy. It's kind of moved away from the Musketeer strategy. Now it's just kind of like bodyguard turbo. I'd only play like the Musketeers as a very small package in that. Before, we used to call Musketeers because that's how the strategy revolved around, was the Musketeer characters in the beginning. Now it's kind of just bodyguard turbo. That's what it kind of is now. We got 2 Little John here. We got the Shift 4 Little John. While this character is exerted, your characters with bodyguard gain resist 1 and an extra lore. So that's actually very nice. So you want to bring him out either on the 6 cost or by shifting over the other Little John or any Little John, period. And then basically he just taps himself, gives all your bodyguards resist 1 and extra lore. So that's actually very strong. Again, Steel has some good strategies here for playing a bodyguard deck using the Amber engine, because Amber did get some bodyguards in it. This is actually really good with the character from the last set. Oh, there she is. Namari, where Namari can get that resist because she can attack challenge-rated characters, so that if you have like Little John exerted, she can get a resist 1 on her, and she get an extra lore, but still, very, very good. Especially if you actually have multiple of these Little Johns out, you can buff your bodyguards up to be pretty massive in resist strategies and in lore. So, pretty neat. Not mentioning this is not on your turn or your turn, it's just whenever he's exerted. All your characters get a +1 and a resist 1. So it's always that good threat. So the other Little John is a bodyguard, and during your turn, this character gains evasive. We've seen it before. There's a lot of characters right now that are getting this evasive keyword during your turn, which of course helps dealing with those evasive strategies, since typically we don't see a lot of cards with that evasive text on them. So, and not a lot of decks play with a lot of cards that have natural evasive on them. So it's always important to remember that if evasive starts becoming more and more prevalent in a meta, these type of cards will become more and more prevalent as well. But neat nonetheless. We got Lithos. Of course, we still have to read Pyro. He gets a resist 2 naturally, and then chosen characters gain resist 2 for the turn. It's okay. That's about it. It is really nice he has a resist 2 because he's only got 1 will on him. For a mountain rock thing and the Rock Titan, only having 1 lore is 1 will is pretty bad. Anyways, we got a couple Mickey Mouse here because we can't have a Lorcana set without at least the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Mickey Mouse, who decided he wanted to dress up as Indiana Jones today. Yeah, they could do that. Disney does have the rights to Indiana Jones. They could put Indiana Jones in this game. There's like no live action characters yet. It's all been animated stuff, which is very interesting. We don't have any of the live action stuff yet. Maybe we should get Indiana Jones in there. But how would they do that, honestly? I know we're in a tangent. How would they do that, especially because Indiana Jones fought the Nazis? It'd be fun, though. Indiana Jones running around in Lorcana in a world of animated characters. Well, that would be very interesting. But anyways, this character gets +1 attack for each location you have to play. It's very neat. I think this also could go in a 𝐒𝐲�K, Queen of Hearts strategy, just because you want to play those really good Ruby cards like the RLS Legacy and Agrabah, just because Agrabah gets you 2 lore per turn. Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Again, I think it's good for the 𝐒𝐲�K, Queen of Hearts smash face strategy. I haven't seen a lot of decks play this Mickey Mouse, but I think this is a very strong Mickey Mouse. This literally just breaks the entirety of the game. For tapping it and paying 2, you can just play out any character. There's no restriction here. There's like none. There's no restriction on this Mickey Mouse. He just can play anything. So you like playing a Maleficent on turn 2. No, turn 5. It had to be turn 5 because Mickey Mouse costs 4. Unless you literally could cheese out a Mickey Mouse. Like, clearly, you could just play out Bam Lamma Jamma. There's Maleficent, Bam Lamma Jamma. There's some big character that just came out, like in a Ruby strategy, just spamming like Hades before Hades even comes out. Typically, you wouldn't have to worry about it probably in a Sapphire strategy. With Sapphire's total new ramp system, you're probably ramping way before this Mickey Mouse is even prevalent. But I haven't seen a lot of decks take use of this Mickey Mouse. Now, not saying that in the future, this Mickey Mouse doesn't become completely broken and completely just spams out dudes so easy. But as of right now, I don't see a lot of decks really utilizing this Mickey Mouse, and I think it's actually a really cool Mickey Mouse. Now, again, like I said, right now, maybe it's because there's not really any good strategies that can take use of the Mickey Mouse. Maybe in the future, like I said, maybe set 5. There's some cards that are absolutely broken that this Mickey Mouse can spam out so easily. But yeah, always keep this card on the radar because I think this card will have some prevalence in the future as the game goes on. Anyways, we got Minnie Mouse. While this character is at a location, you just get +2 power. It's okay. Again, just another card for 𝐒𝐲𝐿. I have seen a lot of people play this Mr. Smee. At the end of your turn, if this character is exerting, you don't have a captain character in play, deal 1 damage to this character. What's good about this is that you would play this in the John Silver deck because John Silver is a captain. Again, Mr. Smee doesn't care about the captain. It's not Captain Hook. You just need a captain character. So, and not mentioning he is basically a 2-cost that quests for 2. So he's a little bit of power creep, but he does have this heavy restriction on him. The fact that without that captain character, he is dealing himself a damage. But he has to be exerted to do that. So your opponent could basically just play this character, sit him there, and wait until he gets a captain out. Once he has a captain, he can start questing. Now, Mr. Smee doesn't have a big will, so just be mindful of that. But still, a little bit of power creep here. But not overall power creep. Not like this massive jump we saw from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2. Now, again, my greatest fear is that each set's going to slowly try to overpower creep the last set, and I think Ravsburger needs to slow that down. Listen, a little power creep between each set is perfectly fine to help sell sets, but an overall jump of power creep each and every set is not going to be good. That will kill your player base very fast. We got Mufasa. A 7-drop that quests for 3 and a 3/10 body actually is very, very good. It makes sense. He's the king. King Mufasa. Only Scar can kill Mufasa by throwing him into a bunch of wildebeest. Ah, yes. But still, neat vanilla. You can actually probably play this in like a Steel Sapphire strategy because how good Sapphire is at ramping. Just to bring him out very quick. Just sweet. Get 3 lore turn. Another card I think is a little bit of power creep for a 3-body and 2/4 at quest for 2. But I don't know. It's pseudo power creep really. Not like more horrible power creep, but like kind of a pseudo power creep. I don't see a lot of decks playing it anyways. But still, very good. Pyro, the last of the Titans. During your turn, whatever this character banishes another character in a challenge may ready chosen character. So very nice. Again, smashing into something, ready one of your other Titans, like for instance, the Frost one, the Ice one, can tap itself to exert one of your opponent's chosen characters using Pyro to smash into it. Ready that Frost one so he can do it again. And then say you have out Hades. Hades tap it to then ready all the characters again. So just a little bit of synergy with the deck. I do like it. I would probably more or less choose it for like maybe a 𝐒𝐲𝐿, Queen of Hearts strategies because again, he does have that ability to ready stuff. For instance, he can actually ready our giant man, Gustav. But nonetheless, he's okay. For a Titan strategy, he's okay. But for like maybe 𝐒𝐲𝐿, Queen of Hearts, like Ruby Steel, Smash Face strategy, I don't think he's too bad. We got Raziel. While his character has no damage, he gets a +2 attack. And very interesting, that's about it for him. Well, we got a couple Robin Hood. This Robin Hood is seeing a lot of play right now for his 1-drop because of the fact this Robin Hood over here is very cheap. Now, the other Robin Hood a lot of people are playing is from Chapter 2. It's the Robin Hood that tap it to deal 1 damage. It's the Archer Robin Hood. But anyways, a neat little Robin Hood, a 2/2 1-drop. Now this is a very strong Robin Hood. And basically you shift for 3, so he's 2 less for his 5-drop cost. And this Robin Hood is very good. So during your turn, whatever this character banishes another character in challenge, just gain 2 lore. We've already seen that. We saw Aladdin from Ruby do the exact same thing, but our opponent also lost 2 lore. So we gained 2 lore, but also he's very good because when this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. So it doesn't care how he's banished in a challenge, whether it's banishing on the challenge on your opponent's turn or your turn, you just get to draw a card. So a very strong Robin Hood altogether at a 3/6 body. So just a very good Robin Hood. We got the Sheriff of Nottingham. Whenever you discard a card, you can deal 1 damage to chosen opponent's character. I will let you know right now, I actually have a deck revolving kind of around him. The beast from Chapter 1, the Emerald Beast from Chapter 1 should be more specific. No, from Chapter 2, Rise of the Floodborn, is whenever a character is damaged, you get to ready himself. So what you do in that strategy, I have a deck profile and gameplay of that already. What you do is that you have out the Sheriff of Nottingham, the 6-drop beast from Chapter 2, and the Bayou location from Rise of the Floodborn. No, Into the Inklands, sorry. You have the beast attached to the Bayou. The Bayou says draw a card, discard a card. The Sheriff of Nottingham basically says whenever you discard a card, you deal 1 damage. So you quest the beast, that triggers the Bayou draws you a card. Even if you have no cards in hand, doesn't matter. Pitch it. As long as your opponent has a character that can sustain damage for a good chunk of time, or multiple characters that can sustain damage, the Sheriff deals the damage. The beast stands up. Quest for 2 again. Draw a card, discard a card, deal damage. So it's a loop. It's an infinite loop as long as your opponent has characters, which is very strong. So I have been able to get this loop off multiple times, and it's pretty nasty when it goes off. But it does have a lot of moving pieces. You need your beast to survive. You need your Bayou to survive it. You need your Sheriff of Nottingham to survive. So by turn 6, or by turn 7, because typically you want to go beast, and then turn 7 you play down the Bayou. That way you can play. Again, you can do the beast and then turn 7 play at the Sheriff of Nottingham and Bayou. You don't need the Sheriff to quest at all. He just needs to stand there to use this effect. So I could definitely see like if there's more cards that benefit from like discarding, damaging, and then that Emerald Beast becomes more prevalent in future sets, I think that will be really, really strong. But overall, only for that strategy, that's very good. Otherwise, I have seen no use for this card besides using it as a way to loop the Emerald Beast. We got a couple of Simba here. Simba all tatted up. When you play this character, and whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, during your turn you may choose 1, draw 2, discard 2, or you can deal 2 damage to chosen character. It's pretty neat. Again, just another character to play with like a beat stick strategy. And then we got Shiny Simba. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, chosen opposing character can't challenge during your next turn. So it's pretty neat. It just stops them from challenging. The problem is it's not stopping them from questing or anything like that. Now, maybe if like a reckless character, that's actually not bad. Like stopping a Maui from challenging is actually pretty nice because reckless characters cannot quest. But there are ways to turn reckless characters into questers. But still, it's okay. We got Thaddeus E. Clang. Whenever this character quests while a location, you may deal 1 damage to a chosen character. Again, you could do this, of course, with like the Sheriff of Nottingham to loop the beast. I just never played it in my strategy because I think the Sheriff of Nottingham and the Bayou is just a little bit better of a strategy. But I can see some use out of this. Maybe if there was more better locations or stuff like that. Again, I think even a Ruby strategy playing this character and having him on like the RLS Legacy is actually not bad. Well, that was all the characters. It's now time for our actions and our items First up, and then came Zeus with his mighty lightning bolt and struck down the Titans. But anyways, just another amazing song for song control. So many good songs for song control. It's just grand. But anyways, we just deal 5 straight damage to chosen character or location. You just deal 5 straight damage. Like Zeus threw a lightning bolt and struck everything down. It's just really, really good. And at a full cost, it actually is very nice as well. Especially with Ariel being a singer 5. She could just sing this and go, "Wazam! I killed your stuff." So, this is another very good control card for Steel. And another really good song, too. And then we have Kaboom. This is like Fire the Cannon. It's one more than Fire the Cannon because it does 2 damage to chosen character or location. We don't have a lot of stuff that actually deals with location. If you look at like Chapter 1 and 2's like Steel cards that deal damage, like Let the Storm Rage On, Strength of a Raging Fire, Grab Your Swords. Those deal damage to characters. Fire the Cannons, Smash. Those all deal damage to characters, not locations. So it's nice to see we do have these cards that can be like utilized to deal with locations. By the way, there's the Steel symbol right there. So not bad. I don't see a lot of decks playing it. The Rise of the Titans is the better location. Typically, I think if you want to deal damage to locations, you typically would probably go with Zeus, or you'd probably go with Rise of the Titans. Olympus would be that way. Your character gets a +3 while challenging a location this turn. It's neat. Again, not overly great. Again, this is when the Titans are going the exactly wrong way, and Zeus and Hades has to point out that Olympus is that way. So, it's okay. Now, this is probably the better card to deal with locations. Rise of the Titans. You just banish a chosen location or item. Just get rid of it automatically. With like the RLS Legacy or McDuck Manor being at like such high wills, this is a great way to deal with those. Now, I don't see a lot of decks utilizing this, but if locations become more and more prevalent as sets come out, I think this will become more and more prevalent, especially if locations become even more broken or even more busted. Or basically, if next set's locations basically power creep out all these sets' locations, which I hope is not the case because I really do not want to see a game that over power creeps each and every set. That's not going to be fun. It's just going to be way too fast. And in a game about questing lore and stuff like that, that's not what we want. We want the game to go at least maybe 10 turns, not in on turn 5 or 7. But anyway, it's just a very good card. I think kind of slept on in my opinion because of that ability just to banish locations. Just very strong. Our final item is Captain Hook's Rapier. I did see someone playing this once. During your turn, whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, you may pay 1 to draw a card. So it's not bad. Again, it's just a nice way to like just to draw a card. And if a character named Captain Hook gains Challenger 1. So Captain Hook can get a Challenger 1, which is actually pretty nice because if you have the 1-drop Captain with this, that Captain Hook is actually around a Challenger 3 because that Captain Hook naturally gets a Challenger 2, and then he gets a Challenger 3. He'll be at Challenger 3, which is pretty nice. And again, I do like the pay 1 to draw 1. It's pretty nice. Again, I think there really is a nice consistency of cards in the Steel engine to play, like I said, like a Shere Khan, Queen of Hearts, Smash Face, Game Lore, Draw Cards, Advantage type of deck. We got the Gizmo suit. Banish item chosen. Character gains resist 2 until the start of next turn. It's okay. Not overly great, but it's okay. And then we have the Map of Treasure Planet. I think another kind of slept on Steel card. You can tap it to pay 1 less for the next location you play. So basically, this just gives you 1 less to play for each location. And then you pay 1 less to move your characters to a location. So I think this is definitely slept on, and I believe it's probably going to get more prevalent as locations become more prevalent in Lorcana, because tapping it for free to pay 1 less for location is very strong, and being an item means that you need item removal, like Binja, like the beast from set 1, like Rise of the Titans, to remove it. And then, basically, you just get to move your characters around for 1 less for free, and with most locations just requiring you to only need 1 lore to move a character around, that's very neat. So you can actually spam, I think, this really well, because the fact is that, again, we saw with John Silver, a character that wants to have location spam. He needs locations everywhere. So he gains that resistance and extra lore. We've seen with Peter Pan wanting to move around to locations to gain lore. I think, again, a very strong card for that type of strategy because we're paying one less for locations and basically all our characters get to move around locations for free. Because there's very few locations that have like a high amount of lore needed to gain. But even if a location has like 2 lore on it or 2 ink that's too required to move, it goes down to 1. So it's very nice. And most locations only need like 1 ink to move a character there. So this basically gives all those 1 ink locations free. You just move your characters around there for free, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. I think definitely a very slept on card. I think will become more prevalent in the future sets as locations become more prevalent in the game. And also a very strong card for the John Silver Peter Pan strategy of using spamming locations, using John Silver to gain all that lore and all that resist, and then using Peter Pan to jump between locations to use his effect to gain lore. Then now we have our locations, our 3 locations. We have Maui's Place of Exile. Characters gain resist 1 here while they're here, so it's really nice. All your characters have a natural resist 1, which is pretty nice. Again, adding a character there like John Silver to give him even more resist would be pretty nice. We have our generic location. By the way, the Maui's location does not give you any lore. And then we have Nottingham. Just gains you a lore return. It's got 6 will. It's just a vanilla. And then finally the Bayou. Like I said, it's only got 3 will, but it's a very good card. While a character here quests, you may draw a card, discard a card. Again, it's very strong for using that Emerald Beast from Rise of the Floodborn loop. You need the Beast here so he can quest, draw a card, Sheriff of Nottingham, then you'll discard Sheriff of Nottingham, dealing that damage, restand that Beast, and you just do that loop over and over. But other than that, it's a really good just dig card. Again, maybe if Lorcana can give us cards that can resurrect stuff out of our drop, that'd be really good because then we could actually have this card be way more useful because then you could discard just things you need. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can discard like stuff. And you can do like Monster Reborn to bring it back or other cards that bring stuff out of the graveyard. So I could really see something like that coming out in existence into Lorcana where Steel actually can benefit from its discards where it can now start resurrecting stuff back onto the board. So nonetheless, just a very nice card. But overall, Steel is how we've seen it. It's a control strategy. That's what it does. It likes to control the board. It likes to control the stage. We got a unique deck strategy with that John Silver, Peter Pan location spamming. But other than that, that's really about it. We got a couple more bodyguards. We got a neat strategy for bodyguards. It's kind of moved away from Musketeers and more like bodyguard spam. And then, of course, like I said, I think we have a couple slept-on cards in, like, Mickey Mouse and, like, Treasure Planet and Rise of the Titans. And then a very strong card in the 5-drop Ship 3 Robin Hood. But overall, Steel is pretty good. But that is it. We have reviewed every color from Into the Inklands. So let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the Steel cards. What decks have you created from it? Have you tried a Titans deck out? If you did, let me know down in the comments. How did it go? What did you like the best out of the Steel cards? What did you like? What cards do you think are the best overall? And let me know your thoughts. Do you think that Into the Inklands power crept in Rise of the Floodborn? And let me be honest, it did. The locations broke power crept out Rise of the Floodborn. And that is the problem. Listen, I'm not against new mechanics coming into the game, locations coming in the game. I'm against a game power creeping each set. Listen, I love the game. I think the game is neat, and I think it has evolved from its original state of just being kind of meh to Rise of the Floodborn, giving a little more meh, and then get kind of over power creeping, and then we kind of see, this giving us locations, and then once again, I think it gave some great evolution to the game, but it gave some power creep to the game as well. I mean, honestly, look, at this moment in time, Rasburger's already released some challenger events, and those sold out. Caps filled. Now, again, I'm kind of against caps. I don't think we need them. Personally, you should let 1,000 people in. I don't know how many tickets they sold, but caps aren't great. They limit the amount of people who can come to play the game, and it doesn't help out, a growing fan base. If you think about it, like Yu-Gi-Oh has like 1,000+ tournaments. Why don't you do that? Ravensburger, open it up. If you want to cap it at 1,000, okay, cap it at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, but you can't cap it at like 500 people. I don't know what the cap was, but I did know each of the Challenger events sold out. I have a feeling that this will be at Gen Con this year. It was released around Gen Con of last year. I 100% believe that tournaments will be at Gen Con of this year, and my greatest fear is they're going to be capped as well. So, I mean, these events automatically sold out pretty quick with thing, but I am happy they are doing live events. I haven't seen anything about any webcams. I'm happy they're doing live, but they need way more live events, and they cannot cap live events. So, a little off that. And again, if the 4th set, I think, comes out in May, I believe May or June, power creeps out this set, then I have to admittedly say, I don't know if Ravensburger knows what they're doing. We can't have each set power creeping. Listen, if they do like a minor power creep where maybe we're extending out maybe 2 turns, or we just stay at where we are, but there's just a little bit of power creep, like what Yu-Gi-Oh!, what Pokemon, what Carve Vanguard, what Dragon Ball Super Fusion World will be doing, I don't mind that. Big jumps in power creep, those I mind. But let me know your thoughts. Did you think that this set power creeped out Rise of the Floodborn, which clearly it did? And do you fear Ravensburger jumping power creep each time? Listen, I don't want that. I want this game to sustain itself. But again, at this moment in time, we're 3 sets in, and I think we're seeing a very strong synergy with it. But there's always these people that I know for a fact are scared of this power creep being too prevalent in Ravensburger's mind. But again, if Ravensburger shows by set 4, we don't have this big jump in power creep, that we're only like that little minor power creep that helps sell the set, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But with that, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mama Dragon's TCG.